All right, I don't know if the first part took as far as what the opening, but what we've got here today is a 2006 Chevy pickup truck. We're going to put new drums, shoes, and springs in there. We had the drum was stuck in place. We had rust fusing it to the axle hub. What we ended up doing was spraying with WD-40 and putting these two extraction bolts on it. It was still too stuck, so I went inside the truck. I put it in reverse with my foot on the brake, hit the gas just a little bit, and it spun the axle just slightly, and it popped off just the way you see it here. So now we can take it off and see what we got inside. All right. With these brakes, we already looked at the book. First thing you want to take out is this spring. Put that off to the side. This is the adjuster lever. That is what the spring hooks to. And then this is the adjuster wheel itself. Since we're putting on new shoes, we'll need to adjust this back in. But we don't necessarily have to do it now. This has a U-shaped return spring. It also holds the shoes into place. It's kind of tricky, but it's a lot better than those old springs with the buttons. I'm gonna pull it out and let it retract. The same thing on this side. All right, you can see the shoe came loose. Put that off to the side. Here's your adjuster. Now this side's a little bit more tricky because it has the parking brake arm on it. All right, so we got that loose. Then we can get our spring out of the way. Got that. Now, on most rear brakes that I've done, you replace this entire, you take this arm off and put the arm on the new shoe, but this one's riveted into place and you can't actually do that. What they want you to do here is get the spring, the parking brake cable out of the spring itself, just like that. You have to push it in to get it past here. Then you want to push it down against the spring here, and that will enable you to get it out. It's a little bit more tricky to get it in, back in. All right, want to get some spray. Alright, we got brake cleaner spray here. Gonna get all the dust out of it. All right, now we have it. It dries pretty quickly. Here's our new spring kit right here. We've got the horseshoe spring. You want these prongs facing inward so they go into the holes of the shoe. And here's the adjuster spring. What you want to do before you go any further, these spots right here is where the shoe rests against the backing plate. And they want you to put some high temperature grease in these spots so it doesn't squeak when you step on the brake. Don't need a lot. just want to take your finger, spread it around. All right. Now, in order to get this parking brake cable put back into place, on the other side we had to disconnect it from the bracket on the other side, but I'm hoping to be able to do it without doing that on this side. Don't want to get any of this grease on the shoe. You have to make sure that you get the spring. There's a saddle in the middle here that holds it into place. You want to make sure you go through that saddle. All right, now I've got it close. All right, I'm going to have to disconnect it from the other side. That gives me the additional cable length that I need to be able to put this into place. Got to remember to put it through this loop here. It stays out of the way. There's a little spring in here that keeps that from popping out, and you want to pull it down a bit to get the head of this thing past there. Just like that. See, we got it in, and it seats right in that channel right there. Then I'll be able to reattach that parking brake cable on the other side. Just like that. Now you want to make sure that you hold everything, get everything in proper placement. This spring goes in a little channel. This part of the spring, there's a loop, like a hook facing upward here, and you gotta hook that in place like that. Then you come back and hold the shoe into place. You gotta pull it outward towards you to get it past the shoe, and then you can pop it in the channel just like that. All right, we're still in place here. Now we get the other shoe, put it in place, do exactly the same thing on this side. The second one's real tough. Make sure you keep the shoe aligned properly, and there we go. And you can see that automatically recompresses the slave cylinder in here. And it holds them in place. All right, now I've got this hooked. There's a plate that sticks past everything, and the bottom of these shoes have to go behind it. That's what keeps everything in place when the drum is on. We'll get a close-up of that when I get the rest of the springs put back. All right. What we want to do is take some more of that high temperature grease, put some on this shaft, because this is what turns to make the shoes adjust. Now you can see that there's a clip right here. When you put this on, you want to and there's a groove here, you want to make sure that the fat part is facing backwards, otherwise it can't self-adjust. It has to engage the teeth on this wheel. All right, that lubricates that part. In fact, you can see it's got that loop right there. You want that to be facing backwards. Now, we want to put a little bit of high temperature grease on the threads here to keep that from rusting and seizing up. All right. It has reverse threads. If you see, it looks like I'm unscrewing it, but I'm actually screwing it back in. Make it shorter. This fatter part hooks on to this park and brake plate. See, it goes right there, and then this part makes contact with this part of the shoe itself, and then this little groove is where that self-adjuster plate slides into. So in order to get this into place, put it in this side first. Then you take something, you just want to pry this side out slightly until it snaps into place, just like that. You can see that's holding the shoes apart. When we get everything else in place, we'll test fit the drum, and we'll have to adjust this to make sure that it fits properly. Okay, we have a new spring. This spring goes in the lowest hole right here, and it's got a loop here that hooks on to this right here. This hooks over that pivot point right there. You want to make sure that it goes in that groove in the adjuster so that this plate hits these teeth in the self-adjuster. You can see that it turns that when you back up and you step on the brake. So now you got to hold all this stuff into place. And you got to try to get it hooked on that loop. Just like that. So you see we've got it hooked here, hooked there. This still works properly. You see, that's what turns the adjuster. We got these in place. We've got this all in the proper spot. Now we want to test fit the drum. We cleaned off the drum with parts brake cleaner because it comes with a thin film of oil on it to keep it from rusting and shipping. So I don't want to touch it with my fingers on the inside. That will harm the brake surface. All right. Now you can see that fit on real easily. So now what we want to do is pull it back off. And then engage these teeth. This turns it to push the shoes further apart so it fits snugly when you put the drum on. You don't want it too tight because then it'll drag on your drum and the brakes will be engaged the whole time you're driving down the road. So as you turn it out, keep test fitting it. It's still good. If you turn it too far, you don't have to worry because you can pull this out like this and turn it the other way. But I'm just going to keep going out a little. This will self-adjust, but I want to get close. Now see, I can feel just a little tiny bit of drag, and I like it. All right. Now I'll get Steve to do a close-up of all the spring and everything just to make sure you see the way it went. Plus you can see down here where it's hooked. You might want to get a side view of that. It's behind the hook and you can see that plate at the bottom. Both shoe parts are behind that plate. And that's how everything goes together. All right, all we got to do is put the drum on one last time, test the brake, test the parking brake, and we got it. All right, that's that. Got the parking brake engaged. And you can see it doesn't turn it off. So basically all I have to do is pop the parking brake back off, put the wheel back on, take it for a test drive, and that should do it. Got any comments, just put them below. Any questions, ask and I'll try to answer. But thanks for watching.